All right, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Richard Taylor again, and I'm coming with a story that is somewhat disturbing in my opinion. Now, the picture of the man that you see on the thumbnail, and I'll show him to you right here, that man is the owner of a nightclub called Sandman's in Seven Springs. So apparently, Mr. Sandman, since I don't know his name, I'll just call him that. Mr. Sandman has recently refused to let a family who wanted to hold a party at his establishment. He refused to let them have the party because some of the members in attendance would be wearing dreadlocks or locks. Now, apparently, Mr. Sandman has had a long-standing rule about not allowing any people in his establishment who wear locks. Now, I get it. It's his establishment, and he has the right to refuse or to make his own rules of who he is allowed to enter or not allowed to enter his club. But what's most troubling to me is Mr. Sandman, as you can see, is a black man. And most of the people who wear locks are black. Now, apparently, from the sources I've gathered, that his rule stands from a long time ago where someone who wore locks stole his girlfriend. So now, if that is the reason he made this rule, now that is petty. You know, that is sort of female-ish. You know, Mr. Sandman, you must get out of your feelings. Now, I have never been to that club. Once again, it's located, someone told me, deep in Seven Springs, which is a outskirt of Goldsboro. But apparently that club was once bustling, and I have to use the word bustling because from the picture, Mr. Sandman looks like, you know, one of those 1960s juke joint owners. And, you know, people have taken to Facebook and began to roast him, and I read some of those roasting comments. But apparently the family of one Mr. Avery Frederick, who recently passed, and I didn't know the young gentleman, so my condolences to the family, his friends, and his loved ones, and all those who want to show him love. But evidently, Mr. Frederick was loved, and there's a lot of people who were interested in going to the party or to the celebration of his life. But because many of the people who would be attending had locks, then he decided, he said, well, you know, it's my club and, you know, it's my establishment. So matter of fact, forget it. We not having the celebration of life. Now, once again, if there was a case where, you know, somebody with dreadlocks, or every time somebody with dreadlocks, and I don't mean to say dreadlocks because I'll give you the story on that in a minute, but I can see if somebody with locks came to the club, and every time they came to the club, you know, there was always a fight, or there was always shooting, or, you know, they continuously smoked marijuana against his wishes. But evidently that's not the case. His you know, disallowance of people with dreadlocks stem from, you know, somebody with locks taking his girl. Now, this is the ultimate sign of coonery. Now, I don't know if anybody has heard of the Crown Act, but the Crown Act is a recent legislation that has been going through the Senate and has been voted upon and actually enacted in some locations, where employers or people who own businesses are not allowed to discriminate against people on the basis of their hair. Now, there were stories where, news reporters were told that they couldn't wear their natural hair, or they were forced to wear weaves, or if they showed up with braids or cornrows or even locks, then they were removed from their position. So this act actually prevents people from discriminating against those who wear their hair in a more Afrocentric or ethnic manner. So it's almost hypocrisy. It's almost Stephen from Django-ish. It's almost Sambo-ish. It's almost Uncle Ruckish-ish that this black man would take that stance against people who sport the Afrocentric hairstyle. Now, you see my hair right now. I'm usually, or I have been usually, one with the close cut Caesar with the waves spinning. But as you see right now, I am venturing towards a more Afrocentric look, and hopefully, I can maintain the storm, as they say, and eventually get to wearing my hair locked up, like Samson or many people in the Bible. But that's neither here nor there. This story, reeks of once again Uncle Tomism, where a black man, and he actually wears a jerry curl, So what if some people say that, yo, man, I don't want you in my establishment because you got a jerry curl and you might, drip all over our furnishings, So I don't know Mr. Sandman. Once again, evidently he's a very established individual to be able to be the owner of a nightclub. But this guy, and I don't know this guy, but shout out to Nehemiah Blue. Evidently, he's one of the people that are upset, and he kind of roasts them. Now this is his Facebook post, and you can't see the words because of the light, but I want to read some of these comments. He say, "MFer looks like Miss Netta talking about no dreadlocks. Man, I'm on your ace. Jerry curl and silk shirt wearing MFer. I know he smell like hibiscus, whatever hibiscus is." He said, "Old Thriller Coven looking a MFer look like the nigga Dre used to work for on Straight Outta Compton. Hating a nigga, that's why one of my fellow dreadhead brethren took your woman, for lack of a better word, pedophile looking a nigga. I ain't mad, I just don't like discriminate niggas too black for that, looking like Wesley Snipes from 2-1 Fu." So he went in on him, you know what I'm saying? He definitely went in on him. But apparently members of the family of Mr. Frederick are also disappointed because of Mr. Sandman's position on people with locks. And the reason why we don't say, you don't say dreadlocks is because there was a colonial power, and I forget which colonial power it was, but they were fighting in one of the African countries, and most of those African warriors, had locks, and they said that they look so dreadful, with their hair like that. So that's where the term dreadlocks, because they said they look dreadful, you know what I'm saying? So they used to use it as a derogatory term, dreadlocks. So now that's why most people, who are quote unquote conscious or in the conscious community, don't like when people call them dreadlocks. And I learned that about 10 or 12 years ago. They're more affectionate, or they're more appeased to you calling them locks, because the dreadlocks come from that colonial power's negative undertone, or the negative moniker, considering locks as dreadful. But once again, this is very discriminatory in the fact that a black man would take this type of stance or this opposition to his fellow black people because they choose to wear their hair in a natural manner. So y'all tell me what y'all think. Is Mr. Sandman wrong for this, or is he justified? Now, once again, I can see if, people with locks would come in and cause ruckus. But, this is definitely something of a more personal nature on why Mr. Sandman took this stance. But y'all tell me what is going on in the comments. If you ever been to Sandman, what was your experience there? And what is your take on him denying people with dreadlocks entry to his club? This is Richard Taylor, Taylor House Publishing. Like and subscribe to the video. If you have any questions, comments, you can call me 919-587-7782. Peace and blessings to all my lock sporting brothers and sisters. Peace.